Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to learn a little bit more about remote Latin America. We see some friendly faces, some people that we know well, some of you that have attended remote in the past, some of you that are new to the remote community here to learn more about what this is all about. So welcome to everyone. Just a few introductions before we get into the presentation. I'm Tad Bradley from the Cassini Collection. I've got my colleague Mark Sisson, as well as Gretchen Healy. So we have three Cassini folks here from all across North America, from Seattle to Toronto and Denver. And then more importantly, we have Ligia Secco and Roberto Bitelman from Remote in Brazil, both of them in different parts of Brazil as well. Roberto is the founder of Remote, and Ligia is nearly a founder, just a few years later, but a big important part of the organization as well. And they're both directors of Remote, and you'll meet them if you're coming to Puhue this year and hopefully next year as well. So we're going to let them talk in a little bit after we've given you a bit more background about Remote, but that's who's on the call today. So we thought we'd start off with just giving you a bit of a history briefly in a minute and a half of Remote and what their story is, as well as a flavor of what the experience is like. So it's about a minute and a half video, and then we'll talk about where they've been in the past and where we're headed in 2025, as well as what makes Remote really unique. So Mark, if we can go to the video slide. I'm not getting sound.
Our story began on a small boat in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. There we were sure that being remote and small is what gives strength to new connections and opportunities. Grow. How can we unite these people who share the same mission without losing our essence? By keeping it small. Remote immersion you already know, now double. 2 destinations. 2 dates, the same formula, small, remote, and independent. An authentic 4-day experience in independent Latin American tourism, packed with business meetings, social gatherings, immersive experiences, moments of learning and exchange. The thoughtful curatorship of companies and people continues to be one of our fundamental pillars. Exhibitors and travel designers who share our philosophy can apply for both editions. Worldwide high-end travel designers who work with a small-scale, tailor-made.
Great, thanks, Mark. So that gives you a little bit of a flavor of the experience, and the fact that the exciting news is that next year you have 2 different opportunities to attend Remote, one in Guatemala and one in Brazil, and we'll dive into that in a second. But again, giving you a little bit of the history, Remote started, Roberto and Ligia and the team are Brazilian, so it of course started in the Brazilian Amazon, where so much life begins there, and slowly kind of grew into what it is today, headed a bit north into, well, I guess a bit south into Patagonia in Chile on the Australis. And then Cassini got involved in 2018 when a couple of our Latin partners attended. John from Costa Rica Sun Tours and Jossie from Tropic attended this remote show in Costa Rica and told us about it. And we were like, what are these Brazilians, what are these crazy Brazilians up to? This is something we should maybe look into further. And we decided, you know what, let's take the leap. And in 2019, the entire Cassini Latin America team headed to Barichara to really find out what this remote show was all about. And let me tell you, it was a revelation. It was one of the most impactful, immersive, exciting, and just amazing experiences as far as travel shows that any of us had ever attended. In this little tiny town of Barichara, truly was remote that year, as the name implies. And we decided, you know what, this is the show that we really want to put our efforts into, because it does attract the best of the best in Latin America from an experiential luxury standpoint, both for suppliers as well as for travel designers. So then we're all excited about 2020, and we don't have to go back to what happened for the next couple of years, but we again attended in 2022 as sponsors in Cafayete, Argentina, another remote destination in Northwest Argentina. And then last year, it was in Cuenca in Ecuador. And the events continue to get better and better year on and year on. And we're about to head off to the next remote destination, which is Pujehue in the Lakes Districts of Chile in October of this year. So that's a little bit of the backstory of remote. But what makes remote so unique, and why was it so impactful for us? And I think, the biggest thing is just the way that the event is set up and how it is laid out in a very unique way. Unlike most travel shows that are in big, conference centers somewhere, remote is always in a small, remote part of Latin America, whether that's in a town like Cuenca or in a very remote part of Chile, like this year in Pujehue, where people are roughly about 200 people at most, 100 maximum buyers and 100 suppliers are really in together in this amazing place and able to really connect in unique ways as well. It's not all about meetings and speed dating like so many events today. You do have to do your morning meetings. Part of the the toll to come to event is meeting people in a more traditional way. But the afternoons are not about more meetings, they're about experiences. So learning about the place that you're visiting. So you actually get to experience where you're spending the week, but you also get to connect with other attendees in a different way, in a more relaxed, casual way out on an experience, whether that be a cultural experience, a culinary experience, an outdoor adventure like a hike, horseback riding, mountain biking. You have that opportunity to connect in new ways instead of just sitting across the table in a 12-minute meeting or in the evenings at dinner or an after party. So we love that fact that they bring in different ways to connect together and to create these kind of business relationships that do stand the test of time. The next couple of slides show you a little bit about what that looks like. And the meetings, again, you're not in a massive convention center somewhere, a soulless convention center. You're typically in really lovely character-filled buildings in whatever small remote town that the event is in. So last year in Cuenca, we were in this beautiful municipal building in the center of Cuenca that had just this amazing vibe. And again, meetings are roughly about 12, 13 minutes, like you would have experienced for a lot of travel shows. And you get to meet just about every supplier that attends because of the intimate size of the show, with again, maximum about 200 total attendees. So that intimacy really makes a big difference in terms of connecting with more people. And then those afternoon experiences, again, completely changes up the vibe, heading out on a hike with folks in Cuenca there, in the beautiful national parks near Cuenca, out on a shopping excursion, learning about Panama hats in the lower left, or even, listen, this is how connected you can become with people, is a mud bath, at a spa. This is also from Cuenca. So these kind of experiences that really change the game for developing, lifelong business relationships. That really is the secret sauce of what makes remote special and unique. And then in the evenings before dinner, there are amazing and inspiring talks and seeds. So there's the remote seeds, which are actually anyone from the remote community, travel designers or exhibitors can apply to present on a topic that they feel passionate about. So these are really exciting to hear from the community what is important, what is new, what is different, what is inspiring in their world, and they can share it with the whole community. And then following that, there's a keynote speaker every night or remote talk. And that's oftentimes someone from outside the travel community potentially, or someone doing really inspiring work in sustainability or a related field to tourism that gives you a different perspective on business. All of it really does make you think, gets you inspired, gets you excited about being a part of this community and about how you can apply some of these ideas from community members and those outside the community into your own business. And then following that, of course, there's the social event. So dinners every evening are typically in different places, which make for fun, unique experiences. That's not a rinse and repeat or a copy and paste every night. And then social events, parties that follow as well. So it really does have it really rounds out the experience by having all these different ways to connect with people. We also just wanted to give a quick shout out to our friend Clark, who I'm not sure all of us know, but Clark was an instrumental part of Remote. Clark Cotula, who we lost about 2 months ago, painfully lost suddenly. And Clark has been a part of Remote almost since the beginning, and was part of the advisory board and really helped move Remote forward and make and shape it into what it is today. And he is going to be greatly missed by all of us at Remote and frankly by everyone in the Latin America travel community. So our hearts go out to Jackie and the family, and we are going to carry on and honor Clark as well in Pujewe, as well as we will, I'm sure, in future events as well. So just our thoughts with Clark's family and with the whole community of Remote. So we, as I mentioned, as Kusini, we've been a part of Remote since 2018 on a small scale, and then since 2019 as sponsors. And that just shows you how we really do believe in this event and the impact both on developing relationships and on business. We've continued to sponsor Remote since 2019, again in 2022, 2023 last year in Cuenca. We'll be a sponsor again this year in Pujewe. So we are all in, and as a result, we've also become the North American reps for Remote, hence why we're presenting to you all today. So you can come to us and get a bit of an independent view. If you don't want to talk to Ligia or Roberto, we're obviously big believers in it. We wouldn't be their reps, nor would we be sponsoring the event if we didn't think it had a great impact on our clients' businesses and was, frankly, the best Latin America travel show out there.
Thanks, Dad. And moving on, so just a quick intro on who are the Remoters. As Dad mentioned, it is a small show, about 200 decision makers. And if you add up actually the entire show, including the production team, you're looking at about 200 people, more or less. And what that guarantees you, in those 3 or 4 days that you're spending time with them is you really get to meet everybody. And spend some quality time with them. And I think that's super important these days, especially when it comes to trade shows. So from the travel designer side, these are carefully selected travel designers that Tad and I help out the Remote team in finding the right travel designers who attend the show. And likewise on their end, we've got, exhibitors from Latin America, both from the lodging and the boat side, as well as local experts. And just a bit of a breakdown on the exhibitors. We've got them from all over Latin America and the Caribbean, and about 70% of them are hotels and boats. And what makes it a little bit more unique is that these boats and hotels are generally, your independent properties. They're small with about a maximum of 60 some odd rooms, high end, but more importantly, highly personalized. I think that's more what we're looking for, where you can really connect with the property and the suppliers, right? Generally, a lot of them will have a positive social impact with sustainable tourism practices, as well as located at surprising and sometimes off the beaten path destinations that don't get a lot of exposure out there. So that's what make up a lot of the hotels and the boats that participate. And about 30% of the exhibitors are your local experts or your DMCs that are focused on one or a handful of countries. So we're not looking at, big mass market companies. These are small local expert DMCs that are, as mentioned, sometimes off the beaten path. They value local culture and nature, and similar to the hotels, promote sustainable, positive impact tourism. And then moving on to who are we looking for the Remote travel designers? Well, we're looking for folks that specialize in Latin America, but also more importantly, if you're looking to expand your business to Latin America, this might be a good gateway to know the who's who in this part of the industry, right? So we're looking for creative and innovative travel designers who are not just looking to sell the easy stuff, but also looking to sell some of the off the beaten path destinations, ones that kind of align with our exhibitors who are concerned for positive social impact and sustainable practices. We're looking for travel designers who respect the local culture and nature and have appreciation for that. And, ones with discerning clientele that are seeking for that, transformational travel.
So yeah, there's a little bit of an intro to remote, to who the remoters are. And we did want to give Roberto and Ligia the opportunity to talk a little bit about their story and then to introduce the destinations for next year. So I'm going to pass it over to Roberto and let him give you a little bit of the background on how remote came to be. So Roberto, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Thanks, Mark. Great presentation. Hello, everybody. I'm Roberto from Remote. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So Remote was born in 2016 in a boat in the Amazon and the Negro River. And there we had the first experience to be isolated, to be remote, and really connect with each other, and not only doing pre-scheduled meetings as most of the other travel shows, which what we consider like most important part of the event, but doing other activities, outdoor activities, cultural activities, lectures, and social events, as Todd and Mark said. So that was already 8 years ago, and the mainly characteristics or the mainly features of the remote immersion is to be intimate, is to be something small, where at the end of the event you have the feeling that you met everyone there. So even if you're doing a pre-scheduled meeting, or if you're going on a hike or in a cultural activity, you have the feeling that you met everyone and you had quality time to spend with people that you already know, or people that you just met, or people that you were willing to meet. So some good surprises, some good re-encounters, and that's the essence of the show. We've been for the last 2 years, we have reached our maximum capacity, which is 90 exhibitors and 90 travel designers. And we've been, from both sides, we've been pushed to grow. So people, oh, please accept one more property, one more boat, one more buyer, want to take part of it. We took a lot to get to this point, but fortunately we achieved that, and we are very, very happy and honored with that the industry recognized our efforts. But we said, no, we cannot grow. If we decided to grow the event and make it bigger, we are going to lose our essence. We're going to lose our mainly difference from other initiatives, and this is exactly what we want to keep. The intimacy, the doing something small, and people really feeling they are part of it. So so we decided not to grow inside the same event, but just to keep on the how remote is special in our opinion, of course. Besides doing the meetings and having all the other activities, it's an opportunity to explore a remote destination and to visit a place that you want, that you like to be there, and more than that you would like to sell. So we want to take you to a place that you would enjoy, that you have a pleasant experience, and more than everything, that you feel ready to sell and to offer to your best clients some hidden destinations, some hidden gems, and that's the purpose of the event. And some people naturally consider it like a fun trip as well, because it's a great opportunity meet some destination that people, some of the participants never been there, and some others had never heard about, like Barichara in Colombia, or some other places that we been, and that we are gonna be, like Chapada dos Veadeiros in Brazil, which is not one of the most popular destinations in Brazil, but a perfect spot. So this idea that you at the end of the show, if you know everyone there, it's our goal. And just one more thing is that although our limit of rooms, for example, for hotels is 60 rooms, the average, considering all the participants, is 14 rooms, 14. So it's an event very focused on the independent, on the small, on the properties that are not part of any chain. So this is, we are not saying this is the best or this is the worst, but this is how we differentiate from other initiatives. So to tell you more, a bit more about this new initiative with 2 editions per year, I invite you, Ligia, to say some words.
Thank you, Roberto. Hello, guys. Some of you already know. Great to have you here. Just wanted to add to what Roberto said, is that we wanted to grow, but we didn't want it to grow outside our formula. So the idea of having 2 events was a solution for that. Basically, because we can keep these ambience where everyone kind of gets to know everyone. And also we can keep the remote destinations, because if it grew in size, we wouldn't fit those small and off the beaten path areas that we now are able to be at. So that's why we decided to do 2 events. And we decided also to locate one in Central America and one in South America. So we have the chance to showcase more of Latin America and twice a year. So that's our idea as a community, to show Latin America to the world. So having 2 opportunities per year will help us do that quickly and have more people visit the area. So Antigua, it's a gem. So I think it will be something. It will remind a little bit of Barichara, which is something like this. But yeah, this is going to be an amazing destination. And also something I think it's very important for you guys is that we do not organize pre and post trips, but we do work with the suppliers that are participating on the event to put together some offers. So I think Antigua will offer a variety of possibilities, not only Guatemala, but surrounding countries as well. So our friend and rep in Europe says that remote is kind of a marriage between a fam trip and a trade show. So it is kind of investment to be outside of your daily routine and your business, but you do get a lot of the experience by really getting to know the destination you are at, where the event's taking place. But normally people extend some days before and after the show, so you really get to know either the country or neighboring countries, like what we're going to have in Antigua, for example. So it pays off. And then we're going to have, this is going to be in May, and also Chapada dos Veadeiros in October. Another different destination for the international tourists. It's a well-known destination for the Brazilians. It's a national park, but not very well-known for an international traveler. But it's an incredible destination. I personally love it. I've been there a few times, and you're gonna love it too. And we also wanted to spread those editions into different moments of the year, so you can find the best time for you to travel. So for some people, it could be in May or later in the year. So giving you options was one of the thoughts behind us creating 2 events. So, and I just wanted to add from what Tad was saying about like the whole concept of remote, is that it sometimes it looks like a very laid down show, and it is in a way, but it's an intense show as well because we're together from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So it is having that sense, but it is very interesting. We love it. It's good to get to the end of the day. It's one of those trade shows you get to the end and you feel it's going, you're feeling sad it's finishing and not like urging to go home. And I just heard from someone today that, oh, it was the first trade show that they made me cry with the content. So it is special. It's don't take it from us, Roberto and I only, but also from Tad and Mark and some people here that have been to the show. But we can open for some comments in the end. So I'll go back to you, Tad.
I love the idea of it's a a marriage between a fam trip and a conference, and I think that it really does make a difference when you get to experience the place that you're spending 3 or 4 days at a show. So again, you're not as you said, Ligia, you're not losing time to your business. You're actually really experiencing the place that you're visiting. So what beyond that, what can you expect from each event? And it's also important to emphasize that both events next year are signature events. It's not as one is the JV event and one is the varsity event, to use American phraseology there. Both of them are our top immersion events for next year. It just depends on what works best for you, your business interest, and your schedule. Both of them are 4 nights, includes 4 nights of accommodation, all your meals and drinks, except for 1 night next year where you'll have a free night, which is great. And this does include alcoholic beverages for those few of us in the travel industry that enjoy a glass of wine or a beer. Outdoor and cultural activities and experiences, as we talked about, those afternoon experiences, all included in the small fee for attending, as well as getting to and from the airport, the gateway airport to either event. And then the event is 45 plus meetings with fantastic local experts and lodgings and small boutique operators throughout Latin America. And then the seeds and talks in the evenings. And then, of course, all included is the parties and the cocktail events as well as your dinners. What it looks like for the week, you arrive on Monday afternoon to the gateway destination, the gateway airport. You get your transfer to whatever remote destination that is. So it'll either be Antigua or to Chapada dos Veadeiros in Brazil. And that evening, everybody gets welcomed with a fantastic dinner, and you get to get a sense of what this amazing community is like. And the next 3 days, very similar. Morning business meetings, speed dating that we're all kind of used to, but in a really cool meeting venue, I'm sure. And then the outdoor and cultural and culinary experiences where you, again, like a fam trip, you get to know Antigua, you get to know Chapada dos Veadeiros. It's not time spent in a conference room the whole day. So you're learning throughout the day about destinations throughout Latin America with your meetings, and then learning about that place that you're attending the show in the afternoon. Then you get to be inspired both on a personal and an emotional level, as well as a business level in the evening with the remote talks and seeds, followed by dinner and cocktails. So that's the day 2 and day 3 and day 4. And the final day is, of course, we bid farewell to everyone at the farewell ceremony and party. And as Ligia said, it's one of the few shows where you really do not want to leave. You're tired, but you have had such an incredible experience, an immersive experience, have made such amazing relationships, new and solidified existing relationships. And you had such an amazing time in this place as well, and learned so much about Antigua or Chapada dos Veadeiros that it's hard to say goodbye. People do cry, and that's not just Ligia saying that. I've seen it as well. And the next day, the Friday, transportation is included to get back to the hotel, to the airport for your onward trips, or as Ligia said, there are pre and post FAM trips as well. So we'll organize those directly with the local partners, and you would head off on potentially on your post remote FAM on the Friday as well. So it's busy. There's a lot every day, but it does leave you energized and inspired. There's a small commitment fee that's based on the lodging that you decide, the type of room category that you would prefer for each event. You can see, we'll send this out to all of you afterwards, but there's depends on the type of room that you select on the commitment fee. And the criteria used to differentiate between standard and superior accommodations. It's not just higher level of luxuries necessarily, but it's a mix of both quality and comfort of the accommodation, as well as the proximity to the event's headquarters, to where the meetings are. So keep that in mind. And for the Brazil event, the Chapada dos Veadeiros event, we do have an early bird credit. So if you sign up before February 14th, I don't know the significance of February 14th beyond this early bird credit, but it's a kind of a auspicious day maybe. You get a $500 air credit that Remote will pay to you after the event. So that's an incentive to sign up a little bit early for the Brazil event. We don't have an early bird credit for Guatemala, but for Brazil, you do have that opportunity if you sign up before February 14th. So I think from here, we'll just show you, this is toward the end of last year in Cuenca. This is the Cucini crew. As I said, you leave, you're tired, but you're energized, you're inspired, and you're really ready for remotes next year. It's almost like, let's fast forward to the next remote. So this just gives you an idea of what the event is like and the passion behind it, and how much we love it as a portfolio of amazing Latin American tour operators and properties, and why we have signed up to, to support the remote team in Brazil to really promote this incredible show to the North American market. So we hope to see some of you in that photo next year in 2025, and want to open it up for any questions that you may have, if any, and any last thoughts by Ligia or Roberto. So any questions, we're here to answer them. Or we've done such a great job outlining it, you don't have anyone. I see Cucini koozies, Andres. Yes, we will have plenty of koozies next year as well. It's become a popular takeaway.
Maybe a question, just to clarify, will it be the same exhibitors for both Guatemala and Brazil edition?
Ligia, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I can. Well, the idea is that, well, first of all, just for you to know how we select the suppliers. We have a limit per country. It was always like this. So we have a great balance of products spread throughout Latin America. So we'll keep that division for both events. Of course, we believe some of the Central America properties will go to Guatemala because of logistics, and some also, like Brazilian properties, will prefer Chapada dos Veadeiros. However, that limit per country will help balance the where the suppliers come from. So you always have a very good mix of whole Latin America in both events.
Awesome.
Yeah, and considering the confirmed exhibitors, we have, I would say that only 10% of them are attending both events. Okay. So almost all of them are choosing either Antigua or Chapada dos Veadeiros. And as Ligia said, of course, people from neighboring countries may choose the closest one, but that's the only possible difference. All the other things we did in planning and the curatorship is to deliver exactly two identical events.
We do have a question here from Tony and Caroline. Hi, Tony, Caroline. Hope you're enjoying your Polynesian experience. Thank you for taking some time away from the beach to join us. Where in BSB will we be staying? So maybe we could talk a little bit about the lodgings and how that works in both Brazil as well as Guatemala.
Yeah, well, actually, we won't be staying in Brasilia. Brasilia is the arrival airport to reach Chapada dos Veadeiros. So it's a 2-hour drive from the airport to the city. So we'll pick you up at Brasilia if you want to stay. And I recommend you to stay at least one night there because it's a beautiful city. It's our capital. You should get to know it. But for the event, we'll drive you from there to the area of Chapada dos Veadeiros, where it's the main city there is called Alto Paraíso, and it's where we are going to be located. Right now, we are in the middle of negotiating all the accommodations because we decided to do an itinerant event. We have to do it every year. So but we will have like a PDF with a general idea of what the lodging options will be. So like what would be some superior options and what would be standard options. So you can have an idea. We won't be able to let you choose, but you have an idea of what you're looking at in terms of the categories.
Thank you, Ligia. And for those that are interested in seeing the current list of suppliers or exhibitors that have signed up for each event, if that would help you to decide which one you'd prefer to attend, you can contact Mark and we can send you the current list for both events for next year. As well as any other questions that you may have, feel free to reach out to either of us. We have both been to several remotes now. We know this community well. We love this event, and we'd be happy to have a further Q&A session with anyone that has more questions. So thanks oh, go ahead, Roberto.
Just one more point. Sorry, Tad. Besides the exhibitor list, we in 10 days more or 14 days more will release the pre and post options for the Antigua edition. So we already have something around 10 options, which are great itineraries, some from properties, some from DNCs, including multiple properties. Some of them are no cost at all, and the others with very special costs. Will take a while to have the same document for the Brazilian immersion as it is 5 months later. But in the next 2 weeks, we are gonna have the Antigua pre and post options. So I think it's gonna be very useful for you guys to decide.
Perfect. Those will be great to see. And thanks everyone for taking the time to learn a little bit more about remote. And again, feel free to reach out to Mark or I with any questions after the event or after this presentation. And Ligia, Roberto, we'll see you both in about a month's time in Puhue. We're looking forward to getting the whole remote crew back together.
Yeah, thanks Tad and Mark for this great presentation, for putting your time on it, and thanks everyone for being here. It was a pleasure, and we are totally ready to answer any question, or if you want to set a call to discuss any detail, we are more than happy.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Great seeing you here.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye.
Thanks, guys.